You're listening to the Casual Swinger Podcast. As your hosts, we need to warn you that the material you're about to hear may be sexual or explicit in nature. This podcast is intended for an adult audience. Now, we don't expect you to act like adults. What's the fun in that?
We're a married couple living in Florida with over 13 years of experience in the lifestyle, and we take almost nothing seriously. Casual Swinger is a variety show, meaning we'll cover everything from music to events, travel, and even the occasional hilarious screw-up. Our show is about entertainment. We're not licensed professionals.
At anything.
And our stories, commentary, and guidance should not be confused with the opinions of a licensed professional.
Now that you know, let's take those pants off and get comfy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Casual Swinger. My name's Mickey.
And I'm Mallory.
And you guys might notice something a little bit different this time. We're doing things that we're shaking it up, shaking shit up.
Yeah.
I didn't get to say it. Like, and I'm Scott.
Don't worry, you'll get your turn. You know, if this was not a video podcast this time, you would be invisible right now.
That's true.
No one would know you were
That's
here.
true. This is totally different. New territory for us.
Oh, extremely new territory for us. So very different. If you guys have noticed, this is our first video podcast we've ever done for you guys. Inspired by our friends that are joining us here for this episode, the beautiful Scott and April. Well, beautiful April and Scott.
Thanks.
Thank
you.
From Naughty Gym.
Thank you.
So thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah.
Here in Nashville, Tennessee, by the way.
Dynamite comment, baby.
Yeah, that was insightful.
Oh,
April.
yeah.
You should definitely, more of that. That's all right.
I am really excited to be here.
This is a good time. So we're going to talk. Today's episode is a little different. We're not going to break it up with our typical segments that you guys are used to. So we're not going to do an intro and then get into the meat. And we're not going to do Whiskey of the Month this time because it's the first of the month. So this is just going to be a little different. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. We're talking about blurred lines today.
Ooh, what does that mean?
Well, blurred lines. So in the lifestyle, characteristically, when people think about the lifestyle, hear about the lifestyle, whether you go back to the days of Studio 54 and Plato's Retreat and places like that, had this connotation of tea parties and meaningless sex. I think that a lot of people still have that idea of the lifestyle.
I'm sure it's still incorporated into the lifestyle as well. Some people's strategies and preferred play styles.
Yeah, bedpost notchers, belt notchers, people like that. That also has a negative connotation to it, right?
Yeah.
So when we're talking about the lifestyle and having a negative connotation, there are those of us, and I would count, I think, the four of us among them, that need a little something more to really be connected and enjoy the lifestyle and have, and some might call that emotional, some might call that personal, some might call that poly. So we're going to talk about that today. But before we get to all of that, we're going to talk a little bit about our Hedo trips, because we have a Hedo trip that's coming up pretty soon. You guys have a Hedo trip that just finished up in January and another one coming next January. So we're going to talk about that because we had such a fucking good time on your trip that we want to talk about a little bit.
It was amazing.
Well, and we'll be on your trip in a little under a month. I think.
30 days,
Yeah,
exactly
we're
today.
exactly 30 days out. I'm so glad you said that. We are thrilled to have you guys there and help host this group. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a little different than what we experienced in January, but it's one of those like different but wonderful you know what I mean?
Well, we're looking forward to seeing, you guys have so much
The same thing,
experience at that resort. So we're just looking forward to seeing you in your element, because I know you guys have been doing this for a while and we've heard that your parties are epic.
Well, and I hope this comes off as humbly as I mean it. If I were you guys, I would be excited about having us there as well.
Nailed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Humbly.
This is Scott, everyone.
Yeah.
That's exactly, we're like, oh my God, our trip is finally complete. Scott and April are going to be
Right. Mostly Scott, but
Yeah,
April's
that's true.
icing on the cake.
How is it you avoided burning your head for 11 days at Hedo?
I didn't get hardly any sun, and I don't know how.
It's because I bought SPF 75 and didn't tell him.
Okay. I was hoping you would say like
Smart.
he had thighs over his head the whole time or something.
And we were there 14 days, and I barely got sun.
That's right,
How
because
does
you
that
got delayed getting home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ice
Good
storms.
time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you poor
yeah.
bastard. You had to stay at Hedo for
Yeah,
another
it was
3
tough.
days.
It was tough, but look, we do this for the community, and we make sacrifices.
Oh, a deep sacrifice.
Right.
Deep, hard sacrifice.
Hard sacrifice.
These are so dirty.
So tell us a little bit about your trip. What is it called? When is it? How many rooms do you have? Is it a takeover? What kind of things do you do? I know we've talked about it a bit, but I don't think anybody tells your story as well as you do. So one of you, shoot your pick, whoever talks more.
I'll start. So be better at being bad. 2025, the second coming.
CUMMING.
Yeah, something like that.
All
right. That was actually Scott's idea.
Well, accidentally. Anyway, go ahead.
But it's essentially a sexual health and wellness retreat at Hedonism Resort. So it's January 4th through the 11th, 2025. And tell a little bit about the things.
Well, yeah, I mean, so last year or a month ago was our first time ever doing it. And it's still, we try to have all the parties and things that Hedo is famous for, but we wanted to incorporate some educational stuff. We wanted it to be something that when you left, you weren't just tired from partying all week. You also had tools for your toolkit to make the rest of your lifestyle journey a little bit better. So we had great presenters from all over the world come in to talk about things as maybe generic as jealousy and handling emotions in these situations, but also things like butt play and how to give a better blowjob. So it was a mixture of a little more vanilla stuff and some more X-rated kind of things as well.
And next year, or well, I guess this coming up year, a lot of the presenters are coming back for year 2.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
There's a few that won't be able to make it, but the majority of them will be coming back. And then we've got some new special things that we're going to add this year. You know, you always learn from the first year what to and not to do and what kind of lean in and what to like pull away from. And so we've got some really great ideas how to make this year even better than last year.
Right. So how many sexual favors do I have to offer you personally to get us invited back?
So you're already paid up. So
later tonight.
Yeah. So we are excited that you guys are joining us. You guys, we got rave reviews from you guys, from all of the attendees, because you DJ'd, you MC'd, you were like gold star VIP hosts, giving tours, and like you guys were everywhere. I don't think you slept the entire week. You were probably more tired than we were.
We do tend to duplicate like gremlins on property.
But it was amazing, you guys. Yeah. And so we're proud that you guys are going to join us again. And we are really excited to be at your event.
And we knew we needed help. We haven't been to Hedo that many times. I think this was our 4th trip. And we knew that was a hole you guys could fill, pardon the pun. But what we didn't expect, or at least not to the level that we got it, was the incredible interplay and interactions that you guys are capable of with the guests. I mean, all week long, we kept hearing people come up to us and say, hey, look, they've been phenomenal. They've taken care of us. They've been fun. All of these rave reviews. We knew you guys were good people, but we didn't know each other, all of us, that well at that point.
Fair, yeah.
And so we knew you knew your shit, but we didn't know how you were going to be on. And look, I mean, we were blown away by the care and professionalism that you showed to the guests there. And you didn't have to do that. That was something that you just did out of the kindness of your heart. And we appreciate it.
Yeah. What's amazing really is in the lifestyle community or the sex positive community, meeting other influencers or that are also growth minded. Like, you have a message for your listeners. We have a message for our listeners, but a lot of those listeners are the same.
Yeah, they are.
And
That's
so
a good point, yeah.
If we can educate these people, I mean, it just unifies the community as a whole and causes it to grow.
Sure.
And so we have the same end goal. So working together just felt easy.
It really was. I don't want to say the word synergy because I think that is the like number one anti. Like,
that will literally get you hurled out of a boardroom anymore.
But I think we just complement each other so well. But we also have a lot of the same goals, like you said. And I think putting the people first, scaling that. You guys have done events before Hedo. So it's not like it was your first time walking into an event of a large scale, because you've been doing it in your vanilla life as well as in the lifestyle. Yeah. And you know how hard that is when you don't have someone in your corner to help you touch and execute on certain things that you have planned. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad we could be there for you to help.
I was actually blown away. And I say actually, and I actually mean it this time. And a lot of times when you say actually, it's an insult. You don't like, you're like, fuck, I didn't mean to
those are
insult you.
fighting words in our house.
They are like, actually, honey, that was a good idea. Never say that to your wife, folks. Trust me. But when I say that, I think I said this on our last episode where we talked about it. I did not give you guys enough credit. And I apologize for that. But I'm going to own it and say that, I figured, and this is kind of goes back to what I was thinking when you were talking just now about our crossover of our listeners and our ethos. So our show has been described fairly aptly by some of our listeners as infotainment. We do share information, but our intent is to be entertaining. It should be fun. It should be engaging. If it's not, then I don't know why the fuck you're still listening, but here we are. But at the same time, we're not here to preach. We're not here to teach you how to swing. We're not here to teach you how to be a swinger. That is not what we do. We are here, however, if one person says to us, hey, Mallory, hey, Mickey, I didn't know about that. And now I have questions. That's a good thing. Because a lot of times in life, you don't know what you don't know. And when you start to find out how much you don't know about a subject, all of the sudden it becomes interesting. Or I have questions now because now I'm aware of it or I understand it better. And I think that's something that we strive to do on Casual Swinger. And it's something I've seen people doing as part of Naughty Gym and Be Better at Being Bad Week. Yeah. What do you think about that, honey?
Yeah, no, I agree completely.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think that's kind of our goal. Now for you guys, you definitely opened my mind. I saw a lot of things and a lot of conversations I never expected.
Yeah. I mean, because we were introduced to effectively a new genre. When you talked about sexual wellness and fitness, I mean, we know you guys as Naughty Gym. So I'm like, well, what's that clientele look like? And are we going to be able to serve them to the degree we're accustomed to?
Yeah.
And it turned out like we met some of the most incredible people on property, which actually sings true. If there's a commonality about going to Hito any time of the year, you're going to meet some amazing folks there, no matter when you go. There's just something about the ability to bond with them.
And there was
absolutely blew me away at what was provided. And it seemed 7 days is a long time, but it's not.
Oh, no, it went so fast.
So much that was packed into 7 days.
Oh, yeah. And I also want to thank you guys for the trust you put in us. Again, we didn't know each other all that well. I mean, you knew who we were and you knew that we knew a lot about the property and we've been there a billion times, but that you didn't know what we were up to or how, how we do things. And what I love about Scott in particular, I'm going to blow his head up a little bit, is I worry when I'm there because I am a big personality and I wear my big hats and I'm extremely visible. For other leaders that we work for, sometimes it's hard to have a personality as big as mine. So I try to mute it and I try to dial it down and I try not to be as big or as visible to let you have the light because you own it. It's your brand, your name. And Scott looked at me and was like, just do what you do. He's like, just go nuts. Right. And that took confidence and trust that a lot of people maybe don't have. So I was really impressed by that with you.
Yeah. Well, we told all of our presenters and host, well, when we were talking to presenters, when we were planning, we said, we don't want to tell you what to speak about. You're an expert in this field. Do what lights your fire, what sparks joy in you, because people will see that. And that was the same for you guys. We didn't want you coming in feeling like we had to temper you down and like we wanted who you are at the core to shine through, because that's what people are drawn to.
Yeah, that's going to be the best version of you. And if we don't like it, we just don't invite you back next year.
There you go. I can promise you, I heard no less than 3 or 4 times that week he said, Scott said I could.
Because she kept telling me, she's like, hey,
too much. Let's bring
it's
it back.
not our group, not our trip.
Scott said I could.
Yeah, Scott said I could. It's okay.
You can't shackle him. You gotta let him fly.
He's a Mustang.
He's a peacock. Let him fly.
Just let my mane flew in the wind. And damn if we didn't. That was a really good time. But one of the things I think I love the most about Be Better at Being Bad Week is, and this is going to sound really narcissistic, and I don't mean it to, but it reminded us of our week. And on steroids in a couple of ways. But it did remind...
Not the actual kind.
Yeah, not actual steroids.
Right.
It's our week, not on Molly, on steroids. But it really did blow things up for us and say, hey, wait a minute. This model that we've been toying with, which is to bring our podcast style of infotainment to Hito, you brought the edutainment to Hito.
Yeah, very much so. You really did make it a retreat. And that always made me nervous because we talked about the inherent nature of this place, especially for repeat offenders. So going against the grain, I knew there'd be some challenges there, but I was very interested to see. And it was very welcoming as a vet that has been going so long to see something different happen on property and see it embraced. That was cool.
Well, and there were challenges to that, obviously, and challenges for us and the team, and then challenges from the resort too, because for them it was something different. Mm-hmm. And there were hiccups along the way, nothing major and probably nothing anybody that was attending noticed, but was great feedback for us to know how to do it better next year. And, the resort hedonism was incredibly gracious and professional in working with us, trying to change a little bit of what they do on a day-to-day basis just for that week. And that's not easy for them because what they do works. And to have somebody come in that's a newbie like us to try to change things shows a lot of foresight on their part and a lot of willingness to risk. You know, they have a model that works, and why toy with that? You know, but they did, and things turned out well, I hope.
I think they're amazing, and I think you're going to find out. So our plan, correct me if I'm wrong, is to sell this fucker out next year.
Yeah. Well, it's been very encouraging because there's already been a lot of rooms sold for next year, and we didn't sell the first room last year until like March, and there's already a lot of rooms sold this year. So yeah, it's going to sell out this year, and we're excited about that. But you guys, you don't have rooms left either.
No, we're sold out too.
Yeah.
We sold out the resort in April.
Yeah,
if you can believe that.
We sold out we also sold out our catamaran cruise, which is something we're known for, a week ago.
Yeah.
Which we usually have a few spots left by the time we get on property.
We're usually selling seats on the cat on the beach.
Yeah.
And we're done.
And this is a week that's typically not sold out.
Ever.
No.
Ever. Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
Yeah. They've never sold out that week as far as I know. So,
yeah.
And we sold the pucker out.
Well, and we are excited about going to that one because although we're going to be on your team and working with you,
you're gonna have.
We're gonna get to relax a little bit more on this one than we did on ours.
Yeah, you'll see me go racing by. You'll see just a giant top hat and an ass.
I didn't have an opportunity. One of my favorite roles that I get to play when we're on property is muse. And I love sprinkling the little happy fuck dust and like sending people off on their way to have the best time.
We need to get you a costume.
I do have a plethora of edible glitter. I'm just gonna go ahead and drop that out.
Okay. That's right. Okay, everybody, hands over your drinks around Mallory because she's got fuck dust and she's putting it on everything.
Or leave it open. Maybe into that. Yeah. I'll take some of your fuck dust.
I would like some of these.
Everybody, a little extra fuck dust here, right? I am so excited about Casual Swinger Week, mostly because I have never in my life, and I've been going to Hito more than half of my life at this point. I've been going to Hito.
Wow.
And I'm old as fuck, apparently. But look, I'm not that old. Look at me. See, you can see me now.
It's true.
I'm not that fucking old. But I've been going since I was pretty young. And I've never seen a group chat, the pre-trip chat, take the frick off the way. Unbelievable how our chat group is. These are the horniest people I've ever met.
And I check it every day and coming in and I'm like, oh my gosh, 152 notifications. And I got a privacy screen, FYI, for anyone that's going on this trip that's listening because of you guys. Because I'd open the chat and there'd be some super sexy photos and I'm in the Publix checkout line. So, yeah.
I too have that screen because I like porn.
Yeah.
That is a good sign, though, that you're going to have a super engaged community when you get to Hito. That's exciting.
Yeah. And
we did an episode called A Family is Born because of these type of people. And a lot of them are repeaters, right?
Well, I think we're almost a little less than half the newbies.
Yeah.
This trip that have never been to Hito or never been to Hito with us.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be so fun to watch them experience Hito for the first time.
There's a point of pride there for me as a longtime Hito vet. You know, Hito has the highest return customer rate of any resort in the Caribbean by a lot. I mean, it's not even close. And I know why. I always tell people there's magic in the sand. The relationships you create at Hito are visceral. The relationships that last a lifetime. You tell things people that you met at Hito after knowing them for 6 months that the people that have known you 15 years don't know. There's just something special about the relationships that are forged in that sand. But Hito's really just a hotel. The people make Hito what it is. And I've never seen a group of people become a family in one trip before Casual Swinger Week the first time. And they've done it now, and we're not even in the sand yet. So maybe the sand isn't the magic at all. Maybe it's them.
Yeah.
And you provide them a space to be authentic and connect.
Yeah, there's that. So this is about that time where we would normally dip out of here and come back with the meat of the episode for you guys. But since we're all here together and we're videoing it and just kind of doing our thing, we're going to jump right into it, which means you're going to have to wait to hear Mallory tell you how to find us till later.
Yeah, I have to practice that again because I'm still out of practice. I forgot that's my job.
But for anybody that's maybe fast forwarded or just tuning in or didn't want to hear all the shit about Hito, we are here with Naughty Jim. Scott and April, and we're going to talk about blurred lines between swinging and polyamory. And some people have called it things like swally, which I kind of think is a ridiculous name.
That'll be hard for me to remember.
Yeah. But also, I've always called it poly-light, right? And maybe if we should have stolen someone from Expansive Connections to sit on this with us so they could tell us how wrong we are. But I really do. And by the way, they didn't do that. I'm not taking a shot at Expansive Connections. I'm just saying they're smarter than I am.
We love them.
Yeah, we love those people.
But I mean, obviously, we're a lot smarter than they are, so we don't need them
It's
here.
clear by looking at us, right?
You're the best hype man I've ever had. I mean, mostly for yourself, but like.
Sorry, Catherine.
Yeah. He can help hype himself up.
There's no doubt about it. So I'm going to shut the fuck up and let somebody else talk. And why don't you guys, kind of give us your perspective? Obviously, are these blurred lines? Is it possible to have an emotional connection, a genuine emotional connection in a lifestyle relationship, and it still be lifestyle?
First, can we start by defining what the difference is between swinging and poly?
Well, I think that's part of the problem. I actually tried to research some of this. And
Of course you did.
And there's no accepted clinical definition or defining line where a thing becomes poly or moves from the swinging world to the poly world. In fact, there's really no clinically accepted definition of poly. What's polyamorous? Where does a thing become polyamorous? I do know for us, though. Well, I think I'm speaking for us. Correct me if I get anything wrong from
she will.
Your vantage point. Yeah.
I got you, boo.
We started out as we were getting into the lifestyle or wanting to explore consensual non-monogamy. We said, look, we don't even want to know the people's names. We just want to go to a party, find the hottest people that are willing to have sex with us, have sex, and then go about our business. And because we were scared we don't want to form emotional connection. We have this great relationship. We don't want to risk ruining it. The easiest or quickest route to ruining a relationship is forming some bond or connection emotionally with another person. We're definitely not going to do that. And that is probably the most wrong we've ever been about anything.
We never actually did that, though.
What?
So you went to an event, just picked up the hottest couple and fucked them. We never did that.
You were reading my mind. I'm like, but did you?
Yeah, never did.
No,
well,
did.
Here's my thing. Some people, and I think I'm fine with somebody saying it's just about sex for me. I have my partner, I have my safe place, my foundational relationship. For me, swinging or the lifestyle is just about having some fun sex, no emotions involved. This is probably controversial, but I'm going to say that I don't believe that's actually even possible. Even if somebody genuinely means it, I don't even know what it would look like or mean to say I'm having unemotional sex. There's no connection whatsoever. Because what's the difference there between having sex with that person unemotionally and a sex doll?
That's assisted masturbation.
Yeah. Well, and
I mean,
like, if you think of the act of sex, in and of itself, that's a quasi-emotional experience.
Yeah, it's
for someone.
very.
I feel a lot of things when I'm having sex with my primary
Mostly
partner
dick.
and with my other partner. Not always. To be fair. But I have to agree with you. I don't know that it's possible to take complete emotion out of it altogether and make it purely physical. Because how does that even work with brain chemistry?
I mean, there's very little that's as emotional as sex.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're trying, and I get the sentiment, I understand you're trying to protect yourself. You're trying to erect some sort of barricade that's going to keep the boogie monster out of your relationship, right? But for me at this point, if there isn't some emotional connection, I'm not interested in the sex, even if I think the girl is just super hot. Now, I would still do it. A blowjob feels good, even if I don't like the person, but it feels much better if I do.
Right. And when you're talking about emotions being involved, you're not talking about like falling in love with them or I love this person who's sucking my cock. It's just, I like this person. I would be friends with them. That's an emotional connection.
Yeah. So what is the defining characteristic of polyamory? Where can you, and maybe it doesn't matter, but where can you safely say this relationship or this person, I'm more polyamorous with them than I am a swinger?
We have a theory on that. Do you want to cover the throne room?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll let you cover the throne room. I was thinking about the emotional equity, the emotional mental equity. I think that's when we talked about that. if we as a couple would define a relationship as polyamorous, that's when you allow someone to have equal say in decisions, life, sex, relationship as your current primary partner. So like emotional and mental, reciprocity and equality, equity.
Yeah. So the analogy that we have kind of always used when we talk about our decision-making process and how, because we've been in the lifestyle for 18 years. So we've had,
Don't do the math.
Yeah, don't do it. But
you started when you were 12.
They let
right? Yeah.
schoolers in
Okay.
those clubs.
And now we're banned from YouTube.
There it is.
Awesome.
Yeah, YouTube just kicked us off. I was the swingingest swinger at my middle school.
It lasted 15 minutes before you got banned.
Talking about the playset, guys. Relax.
Right? But it's the throne room analogy for us. If you think about a throne room, anything in the universe, except Game of Thrones, there was only one fucking throne in Game of Thrones. But most throne rooms have a king and a queen and a seat for both. What they don't have seats for is the court. The court stands. Whether they are the ladies in waiting or whether they're the princes and the princesses, everyone stands but the king and the queen. That is your emotional throne room. In your emotional throne room, there are 2 seats. And if there are 2 seats in your emotional throne room, then you are probably swinging. But when you add another chair to the throne room and they too sit at the throne, meaning they have, like Mallory said, equal say, meaning that their opinion, their desires, their emotions carry equal weight with you as your primary partner. So, and that, in a lot of cases, in swinging, we don't have metamors, for example. So in polyamory, we have your meta for you. So let's say that April, you, Scott, and I were poly. Scott and I would be metas and we would all have equal say, but in reality, you have a primary and then a secondary, but I'd be metamor to him, meaning I'm the other guy, but we all have equal say.
That sounds like a lot of work.
That's a shit ton of work.
I don't, and no 2 men tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Well, is there
one?
Is there one? Yeah.
Yeah, there's not one. Yeah.
That's why we have 2 seats in our throne room, because I'm in trouble enough with one woman. You think
so
I
what
piss
you're
off 2 of you?
defining then, you would call that poly, where everybody involved has the equal say in the relationship.
Correct.
So there's no primaries.
Well, you still have your primary, but this other person has weight to them, right? And so,
but it's not necessarily.
But maybe their chair's a little smaller.
Yeah, not necessarily equal.
Yeah,
right?
Potentially. Yeah,
I think you've got
equal. You're still poly if somebody else a vote.
Right. I mean, and we're not experts, obviously, in this topic. I think some poly people would say, well, I still have my primary, and they carry the weight of the decision making, us together. But I do have this person who I love, who I have a very strong connection with, and we have commitments to each other in some form or fashion. And they may have some say in my life, or I may let them have some say, but maybe not to the level of my primary partner. And I think they still call themselves poly in those situations, right?
Yeah, because we've met people that are in a poly quad and they share bank accounts, bills,
oh yeah, there you go,
house
poly as
payments,
fuck.
that kind of stuff. But then we've got friends that have, the husband and the wife, and then the husband has a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
The wife doesn't. And so he considers himself poly, but the wife considers herself monogamous.
Okay. So I'm actually going to make me hear that I don't think we've touched on yet. You are whatever you think you are. Okay. You are whatever you call yourself, however you identify.
Yeah,
just because I say it is this way for me, that doesn't mean it's truth. It's not gospel.
Well,
If we're your favorite podcast, or your favorite podcast is, something Multiamory, for example, is a polyamory podcast.
Naughty Jim.
If you've read Opening Up or The Ethical Slut, and now all of a sudden you have a set of ethos that you think makes you a thing, fuck it, you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Be whatever you are. Just because I say this is how I define it, that doesn't mean you're not.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, I'm not telling you you are not. We're discussing what these boundaries look like for us as we look at swinging as relates to poly, and what boundaries or blurred lines exist.
Right. I think we're going to get into the meat of it, because we got into a discussion last night about the different relationship dynamics we have in ethical non-monogamy. And we talked about a couple that we're pretty close with that kind of go outside the traditional thoughts and relationship expectations you might have in the general swinging place. That it's a little more than that, but maybe not quite the other either.
Definitely not. But I mean, that's a great example. As a good person, you care if you hurt other people. You care if you hurt their feelings. You care if you leave them out. You care if maybe you stomp on some emotions of theirs by accident, or you're a real asshole on purpose. But that doesn't necessarily make you poly because you care. And I can tell you in our lifestyle relationships, I have absolutely hurt the other person's feelings, the female of that part, by being inconsiderate or not listening or doing any of the dumb shit that I do in my normal relationship. So I know that I've caused pain and I feel bad about it. That doesn't necessarily make it a poly relationship because I feel bad because I hurt somebody's feelings.
Yeah. So to kind of give a little background, the way we approach a swinging relationship is anyone that's a DDF and a little more transactional or tries to take the emotion, like, good for you, but I'm probably not a good person for you because I need to feel connected. And the way we describe it is I want to give a shit about you, care about you, help, tell me your kids' names, what's going on in your life. That's cool. But I don't want you to be high maintenance. I also don't want to be fully responsible for you because you do have a significant other. That's their job. Right.
And once it starts to become, once the work starts to outweigh the benefit of the fun, it's like, okay.
Or there's heavy expectations put on you. Like, I don't have the bandwidth for those expectations. Like, I'm not going to text you every day. I'm not going to call you probably ever unless there's an emergency.
Ooh, dude. Yeah, calling somebody is like, oh my, like, I immediately go dark, someplace dark in my head. And when it's just something silly, I'm like, well, don't ever do that again.
Stop calling me.
Yeah, don't call me. We don't have that kind of relationship. I have that relationship with nobody.
Yeah, if Mallory calls me, she's mad.
Yeah, it's never good.
You don't
if
answer.
April calls me, Scott's on fire. It really, but yeah, I'm probably
if Scott calls me, he forgot something.
Right. I'm probably more likely to call Scott though than I am you, April, because I'll be like, hey buddy, here, I got something to talk about for a second, because my thumbs don't move fast enough. My mouth moves 100 times faster.
Scott absolutely loves talking. If we need to make a phone call, I always defer it to him. I'm like, you need to call this person for me.
Oh, when we've done our Zoom calls, Scott and I are a half hour into the call before we ever start talking about what we're supposed to talk about.
That tracks.
Yeah. Entirely our fault. So are these blurred lines so we kind of covered what we think that is. So let's get specific about Naughty Gem. What's you guys' play style, and how closely does it come to the line of poly in an emotional investment?
So it's changed. And that's what I love about this. I think we're highlighting today how fluid it can be and how it's different for everyone. Like, you can call it, I hate labels. And so you call it whatever you want. It's just what I am today. But we started, I guess, I wouldn't even say swingers, because when I think of swinger, I think of more of that transactional type of sexual. And we were just CNMs, consensual non-monogamous. Like, we would find some people that we both connected with and, do our thing. But as the years have gone by, we've found ourselves having deeper relationships with our friends. And I really didn't think it was possible to love, but we do love our friends, multiple friends, not just
some of which we play with.
Yeah. So, but we're not like sharing bills or, anything like that. And so I think he poly-ish.
Mostly because we couldn't afford to help pay anybody else's.
But we would love for them if you want to share our bills.
If you want to help us pay ours, we'll be poly with you. I don't care what you look like.
So poly daddy.
That mortgage is a bitch.
You can probably talk a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of view this poly question as almost like, I forget what the Supreme Court judge, when he was asked, they were trying to define porn. He said, well, I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. So some versions of poly, we all would go, yeah, they're definitely polyamorous. They're sharing a house or bills, or they're all in love. And
pretty hard to miss that.
Yeah, there's some things that are obviously poly, and then there's some things that are definitely just swingerish type activity. I mean, if you go to a sex club and within 30 minutes there, you're into a pile of bodies in a room, and then you go home from that, that's kind of swingerish stuff. But there's what seems like for us, a big gray area in the middle. We don't like either of those two extremes, or what we view as extremes. And they're not, there's nothing wrong with those. That's just not our style. We're slower to play because we really feel like we need to get to know somebody. For me, I need to feel like I'm starting to form some sort of connection or bond with the other person. Now, if I end up playing with somebody, I have no desire to have, like you were talking about, expectations and responsibilities once we go home. I may see you again in 2 months and we may do this all over and it may be this wonderful experience, but I have enough responsibilities in my life, and I'm not very good at most of those. To then take on another load of responsibilities is just not something I'm interested in. But, and it's scary because we've talked about this. I do chase that sort of, and you used the word, that sort of loving sort of, and I use that word and it sounds scary, and I don't mean the kind of love that we have. Nothing could replace that, but I do chase that feeling a little bit.
Yeah, I love the feeling when if we NRE or
Uh-huh.
infatuation, if I had to define it, that thing that makes your stomach flutter a little bit and you're like, okay, this could be really hot. And like, you acknowledge in that moment that you're very attractive to this person. But in a way, it almost has very little to do with their looks. It's the engagement you're having,
Right.
what you're feeling.
And NRE is new relationship energy.
Yeah.
Correct.
I had to Google that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the question I was going to have for you, Scott, is it the serotonin bump from NRE that you're chasing? Or is it the deeper relationship or the deeper connection that makes the physical contact more impactful for you?
I think it's both. And I could have said, I'm not sure, maybe a year ago. But we do have some close friends that we were very close to now, play partners, but they're also friends. They're people we go to dinner with or hang out with. And there was, in any play situation, there's, if it's a good connection, you're going to have that NRE, but that can start to slowly fade if you're around that person long enough. It happens in a marriage. What you felt with her is not the same now. It's deeper, maybe, but not newer, So that can start to fade. But if there's something else beneath that NRE, that'll carry on for a lot longer. And so I do like both of those, because while I have had fun with sort of some transactional play sessions that we've had, especially early on in the lifestyle, I can do without them now. I just, there was, at first it was new and, oh, we're so cool. We get to do these sex things with other people.
Like, it's exciting at first because you feel naughty. Right?
Yeah. But now we've done enough of that.
Hi, my name's Scott and I'm a cool guy now. I had the sex.
And those guys.
Right. And those
guys. But yeah, now we're much slower to pull the trigger now. There has to be something a little more something under the surface for us to want to play.
I think we've kind of always been that way, right?
Yeah, I think I went full steam ahead. I played it slow. I had a lot of questions. I think it was 6 months from the inception of the idea to the execution of the idea, maybe a little longer than that. And I'll never forget the first time it was
just
swinging in general.
Okay.
But I mean,
your first time was epic.
It was crazy. I would never do this today. No chance. We met 2 other couples in a club and played that night.
Yeah.
And it's so not who I am today. But I remember leaving and going, wow, that was fucking awesome. Like, this is going to be great.
I'm going, I know.
This is not how it works. You never get that. You never get a 4-way connection, let alone a 6-way connection. Yeah. And like, it just never works out that way. And you were right. You were absolutely right. But I also think the newness of the idea and the sense of adventure that came along with it was something that encouraged me to propelled that situation forward. I wouldn't do that today.
Well, and plus,
I need more than that.
When it's newer like that, it probably blinds you a bit to things that now those same 4 other people, you may not have that, because now you see things through a different lens.
I can guarantee you that it would not happen today.
Well, and it's like when you're a kid and you're learning to ride a bike, you may not necessarily be scared of it right away until you fall. And like, you don't know what you're getting into. You don't know where those hidden fears are going to be. So maybe you feel a little more, I don't know, comfortable pulling the trigger a little faster too. Well, I think that's another.
And knowing now what I didn't know then, right? Like, so, I mean, one of the girls had a flipper and she didn't tell me until her feet were over my shoulders. And I looked over and there was a flipper.
What's a flipper? What is that?
She had like some sort of tragic accident when she was younger and she had a flipper.
2 things. We need 2 disclosure.
She didn't tell me, and I know now, so it would be a problem.
Wow, sometimes your communication is so broken. Like, I don't even know what to do with you. When you say flipper, you make it sound like she had a genetic deformity.
That's what I'm thinking.
No, she had an accident and she had a deformed appendage. And to be fair, nobody knew about it until her foot was over your shoulder.
Did you? A little disconcerting when I look over and I'm like, is that a fucking flipper?
You should probably warn people of something like that, right?
Look, before we play, you need to know I have a flipper. But did you taste it?
Taste the flipper?
Yeah.
No, I smelled it though.
What did it smell like?
SeaWorld.
I can't with either of you.
Go to your rooms.
Yeah. To the corner. But no, she had a traffic accident and apparently a lawnmower ran over her foot and literally half her foot was missing.
Okay, well now I feel worse about this whole thing.
So
you're totally
she was having a great time.
You
with it.
warn a motherfucker before you put it right next to
I
their
think she
face.
did try to tell you though.
I would.
And not in English.
Okay, well, no problem.
Did she speak in dolphin? She spoke in dolphin.
Also, she didn't speak English, so
She
she may have
spoke
told
whale.
you.
Oh my God. We're probably going to do some heavy editing on this episode
This may
before.
be our last video podcast.
This may be the last
Ever.
podcast we ever did. Oh my God. Now everyone out there with a flipper is going to message
to
me
the
and
final
go,
season.
how rude of you.
Welcome to the last Casual Swingers podcast
Oh,
episode.
Yeah, definitely. You know, so I do
challenge you to a swimming race.
she would win. All right, I'm going to bring us back here to the emotional conversation that we were having before we went down into the gutter, but I took us there, so it's fine. When we talk about relationships, our primary relationship, our lifestyle relationships, and as we cross over into some of these emotional spaces, there's another emotional space you can find yourself in. So we were throwing out an acronym like NRE, New Relationship Energy, but there's another acronym that we've used here on Casual Swinger that also has an effect. And when we talk about emotionally, BMS. Boring married sex. What happens?
Can't wait to hear this.
What happens in the instances where you start to develop those connections and you have that NRE and you're really putting your back into it? You're doing your best to impress this person and show them a great time. And your partner's like, hey, maybe next time, could you brush your teeth before we fuck? Like, is that?
I've never said that.
But I mean, if you think about it, in your primary relationship, you fit sex in where you can get it in, right? And a lot of times, it's not necessarily something that we're mindful about or deliberate about. We get it in where we get it in. And then before a lifestyle experience, especially when you start to develop that connection to that person or that desire for that person or that NRE for that person, really give it your best effort. You put on a nice shirt, you maybe, brush your teeth, put on deodorant, comb your hair, but whatever the things are that maybe don't necessarily fall under the fit in where you get in. How do we deal with that? And is that a danger? Do we start to feel envy when we see our people doing that and maybe not? And we don't want to fit in where we get in. I want that too.
Good point. So can I shorten that a little
Go right
bit?
ahead.
So have you ever found yourself being envious of a relationship dynamic you have that maybe has that tinge of an emotional investment, and now you're comparing it to your relationship? Has that ever happened to you guys?
No, I think the closest we've ever come to that was when we did the experiment with our separate dates. And when we were retelling what happened on those dates, he talked about doing something with his date that he had never done with me. And that,
how'd that go?
Well,
it was fun.
It hurt my feelings.
It was really fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It hurt my feelings because I was like, I didn't say anything at that time because I love her, I love him. And it wasn't something that was malicious. It was just something that I was like, oh, I want him to do that with me. But it did kind of highlight when we were going through the separate dating, we're still working on it. We're going to do separate dating, that we need to step our game up with each other.
Yeah.
And plan elaborate dates for each other and keep that fire going. We have amazing sex, but it's those little things like make a reservation at that restaurant you've wanted to go to forever, drag me down the alley and fuck me against the building, or whatever it is. It's like those things that you can kind of recreate that NRE in a marriage.
But that is such a good point. And it requires emotional maturity to take that lesson learned and go, okay, because to your point, it's going to happen. If you do this kind of stuff enough, you're right. As a man, especially, and I don't know if women feel the same way or not, but I can feel when you were saying that, I want to impress her, whoever that new person is. Whether she's there or not, I want to be my best and put on a good show or whatever.
You're standing in the bathroom having a conversation. Okay, little buddy, we're going to do this. You're going to crush it.
It's time to step up, little guy. And so we did there was two parts to that separate date. That thing that I did that you're talking about, that we had never done. And it had been a while since I had put that much effort into planning an original creative date. And it wasn't you I was planning it for. And so we talked about that. That was a difficult little thing that we had to work through, but it did. That's one of the benefits of consensual non-monogamy in general, is it highlights holes in your relationship you may not even be aware of, but it became bubbling to the surface because I spent that time, because I wanted to impress this person. I was getting this opportunity to take somebody new out on a date. She's being gracious enough to allow it, and I wanted it to be fun. And so, yeah, then I immediately after that date was over, I planned a date for us too. But yeah,
to try and bail your ass out away you go.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, honestly, those conversations brought us closer because, we realized we had been doing the day-to-day stuff and we're neglecting some areas in our marriage. And so I think it did make us kind of step it up and be like, well, yeah.
And that kind of thing,
woo you still.
Yeah. That kind of thing should be obvious. I mean, it happens to the vast majority of marriages over time, just a little less steam than there was, those first couple of years. But I didn't realize it in the moment when I'm planning this date and, this could potentially hurt her because she is literally watching me put effort into researching the best restaurants or the coolest places to go. And in a relationship that's not on a stable foundation, that could drive a big wedge between you two. That could be a deal breaker.
Yeah. Well, and I think in comparison to most traditional monogamous marriages, ours is already way up here. And so they would probably look at our normal everyday relationship and be like, that's fucking amazing. But
or that we're totally
right,
whacked.
but
like
it just made us aware that we can elevate it even more.
Yeah.
We can still continue to put more care in and take it a little higher.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind coming across those challenges. And in a relationship, there's something that's really soothing about knowing that you have this foundation. Like we talk about no deal breakers. There's no such thing in our relationship. We'll get through no matter what happens. Our goal is never to hurt your partner, but it is bound to happen. You're human beings. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, what I found is when I had a hard time using my words because I went between embarrassed and I don't know what else. I still haven't found that word. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I know I'm feeling this thing and we should talk about this thing, but I'm really sad that I have to mention this thing because I feel like he should know it. Mm-hmm. So I vacillated between that. So using the words in those scenarios, so much better. Yeah. But now I'm losing my train of thought. Because I got lost in the emotion of it.
Is that what happened? I like when she said she lost him and she touched her giant tits, by the way. You guys can see that now.
I just got lost in the moment myself.
We too were lost in the moment of your job.
My point was going to be, I think I skipped over another piece of info there, but I digress. That I found that I was okay if he was putting a similar amount of effort into somebody else as he would into me. Because at the end of the day, we're still going to go home, still pay our bills and still be parents and dog owners and all the other things we are during the day. But if I get a feeling that they get more of something or something I wouldn't necessarily get, then I think that feels like a threat.
Yeah.
Sure. We talk a lot and we've said a lot of times, we say it about Hedo a lot, that going to Hedo will take anything that's great about your relationship and multiply it times 10, and anything bad about your relationship will multiply it times 100. The lifestyle's the same way. Right? The lifestyle is not an answer to a lackluster relationship that is maybe running out of steam, to use your parlance.
Yeah.
It's not the answer to poor communication, or maybe there's been some infidelity or there's been something going on. There's a lot of markers in relationships for problems, and the lifestyle is never an answer to a problem. Nor is poly. Those are not solutions to problems. They are new levels of problems that you haven't started fucking with yet.
It's like having a baby to fix a marriage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to work.
It is not the answer. And there are very few times that I make statements that are unequivocal, that this is the way it is. But I promise you, neither the life story, we're selling shit now, like lifestyle or polyamory or anything like that are answers to challenges in relationships. They present new ones. So do we see that? I mean, we just talked about like driving a wedge, like that can drive a wedge. If there's already a wedge there, does it just make it worse?
Yeah.
I
don't see how it couldn't make it worse. If you are going into this and either you or your partner are unwilling to face these challenges and talk transparently about them, this is not for you. Because, we don't feel like it's a lot of work. People will say sometimes being in the lifestyle is a lot of work. Any relationship takes work. But if you're looking at it as work, like, oh, here we go again. We got to talk about this, or we got to share our feelings again. That's the beautiful thing to us, is we get to communicate, we get to share, we get to overcome these problems. And it makes us feel almost bulletproof. Like, look at the shit we've worked through. Like,
Oh, yeah.
we get excited when we look back and we're like, can you believe some of the shit we've come through and how good our relationship is now? That's a beautiful thing to us.
I don't think I've ever thought about this before this moment, but I think the lifestyle in our relationship, Mallory, is the thing we fight about the least.
Amen. I think we had a knock it down, drag out fight about music the other day, which is rather embarrassing as well, thinking back. But
I did get an argument about music.
I meant every word I said, though.
Can we get the clip notes?
Can we whatever that argument was about, can we rehash that right now, please?
There were a few disparaging comments made about my taste in music and my intelligence. So,
well, she was probably right about that.
I usually am.
She was. I think she called me boomer too.
I gotta pee.
Oh, great.
I asked you if you had to pee before this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we're just going to continue minus Scott's bladder for a moment as he sits over there dancing.
This is the casual Polly.
Yeah.
Scott is no longer here.
Well, what we've covered here today is we've kind of talked about the blurred lines, but what we really haven't covered, and we can cover this from a female perspective, let's just be the Mallory and April show for a minute.
Because I don't have to.
Is it a thing in our relationships? And do we seek it? Do we seek that deeper emotional connection? And if you do seek it, how do you have that conversation with somebody that maybe hasn't articulated that yet, that they think maybe this is just a transactional swinger relationship, and you're like, hey, I like you, and we'd like to be closer friends with you guys. How do you have that conversation, April, when you do? And Mallory, how have you had it in the past with people we've been friends with?
Are you talking about like as far as like if we're at an event and somebody comes up to us? Like,
just go. How do you go deeper? How do you go deeper and get closer to that emotional connection? But still, because we've established is there's a space between poly and lifestyle. How do you get there if that's something you want?
So just be open to friendship. Like these people that I want to go golfing with or play pickleball with or go to dinner with on a Friday night? If so, I'm going to reach out to them. Hey, you guys want to go to dinner? When we're at dinner, hey, you guys want to go play golf? You want to do something? That's how. And it's so hard as adults to form friendships, right? And so, but we've found it so much easier in the lifestyle because people are open to those conversations and they're looking for their tribe. They're looking for people to go hang out with and do things with. And a lot of times with these friends, sex isn't even on the table yet. And we make that clear up front. Like we're just, we let them know we're a slow burn. We just like to get to know you. And now we've got like a whole group of friends that we can go do things with. And some of them we have sex with, some of them we don't. But it's not really like here's our list of rules it's just kind of organic.
Right. You don't actually sit down and interview them per se. I think, especially at this point in the game and how like the culture of the lifestyle has changed. Everyone kind of presents how they go about forming relationships and what their goals and how they define success are, especially if they've been in it for a little while. So I think it's just a graduation. You asked, how do you get there? It's a graduation of opportunity. Like she said, offering to go here, do these things. A big deal, just like in dating relationships, traditional dating is going away for a weekend with a couple. I mean, that's how you kind of open the door. You're not going to just invite someone that maybe you're DTF with. Maybe you will, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like my space is like having people where I sleep is a big deal for me. Like that's almost like a show of intimacy.
Well, thank you for bringing us into your space.
Next up, I'm going to sandwich in between you and bed.
Well, and also like we've got a very busy schedule. And so there's people like we have friends that we message with all the time, but we haven't really been able to see them in person. And that's a way to connect too. Like, so we're building this relationship, and if they aren't patient enough to wait around for a time when we can meet up somewhere or go to dinner somewhere, then they probably aren't in this for the same reason we are.
And I think they usually naturally weed themselves out.
Right.
Like it just works itself out that way.
Yeah.
We had a couple of, we kind of touched on separate a little bit, the word separate play, separate this, separate that, separate dating. Is separate anything a gateway to the space between swinging and poly?
Maybe.
Separate texting, separate phone calls.
Kind of, sounds a little bit loaded because we do separate texting and separate like independent relationships with our play partners, like as a couple. Like I will talk to him directly, he'll talk to her directly.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny how certain things are terrifying to one couple and feel like a nothing burger to another couple. And we're all so different.
Yeah, we don't do separate texting.
Yeah. And
I mean, we do like with our friends, but it's very like vanilla texting. Like we don't do sexting and stuff like that.
We don't sect anyway.
Well, I was going to say, we don't do that. We don't do that in a group, but
yeah. So one of the ways we get around that, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of the ways we get around is we have a shared phone number that's a separate line.
That's true. We don't use it in these scenarios because I really like, as of current, there's only 2 couples we'd ever really do that with. And I think it really depends on that. Like, it's not just a blanket statement that we do this with everyone. It's a very select few that we have that level of trust and security with.
Which is why I asked that question, because of how we look at it. I mean, pretty much everything we say is coming from a place of, this is kind of how we think about things. And in this particular case, yeah, it's very unique for us, but it should be unique, right? You shouldn't have from my parlance, poly light relationship with everybody. So in those individual cases, what are the markers that make it that thing? Is separate communication, separate play. And by separate, it could be separate room, separate houses, separate events, separate dating. I think the answer is yes. And I just wanted to know what you guys kind of think about that. And if that's something that you're looking for as a listener out there, who, there's only 3 of them. So if one of them thinks so, it was 2 last time we recorded. So we're on our way. 33% increase.
That's a big jump.
I know, dude, we're killing it. But if they're one of those people that are going, I would like to have that. That's a hard conversation to have because it's very scary if that other person isn't in that mindset. But if it happens naturally and gradually, is that a way to help that sort of thing happen naturally and gradually? If you feel like that's what you need out of that relationship, is to start having separate conversations or a separate dating scenario? And if not, how?
I love you. I lost track of the question there. Dude, that was...
Yeah. Ask your question again, sir.
All right. We're going to just shorten that fucking
15
question
words
too.
or less.
How do we get there?
Was it just me?
No, how do you get there? How do you get from, if I want a deeper relationship, or I want something that's a little more than swinging, but a little less than poly, where the fuck do I start?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
First, there has to be an agreement between the 2 of you that we both want to try and deepen things a bit with other people, or we both don't.
Well, we never had that conversation. Just kind of organically happened. We never had that conversation. I just want to bring that before the court.
It's mildly hot. I'm so broken.
But things that happen as happenstance, by chance, can be bad. Lightning strikes, right? That's chance.
Well, something you said earlier was that we'll get through any misstep. So there is I don't think you can write an SOP for how to do each different step or variation under the consensual non-monogamy umbrella. It's going to happen differently for everybody. And you have to have that belief in your foundational relationship that and if you, like you said, if we do this long enough, you're going to screw something up.
Oh, yeah.
When you screw it up, or even if you played like this situation she talked about that happened on our separate date, it was well within the rules we had set up. So even if you do things right, some things are going to cause problems you didn't anticipate or expect. You have to.
Ding dong.
Pizza's here.
That's the hooker I ordered.
I think it's a FedEx guy. I saw him walk across there.
Okay. And apparently Scott felt the need to get up and check it. So we're going to see who came by.
What did we get?
Have an unbox. Yeah.
Right? We ordered a new dildo from casualtoys.com. Shameless blues.
I don't know what I was saying now. What was I talking about?
Have to have an agreement.
Yeah, you just have to have that trust in your foundational relationship that when something bubbles to the surface, you're gonna have faith in your partner that it wasn't malicious, it wasn't intentional, at least most of the time, and that you're gonna work through it. Now's this the opportunity to process the emotions that we're hurting from, and then figure out the path forward afterwards. And if you don't have that belief, then maybe don't try that thing, whatever that thing was. Yeah, there you go.
Do we think that the fear of where it could end up stops us from deepening those relationships?
Yes.
Right?
I would say 100% that's my fear. Yes.
Sure. I mean, isn't that all of our fear that we're going to be naked and alone in a pile of our own filth, minus our partner?
I don't know that would go that far. I'll never be filthy. I mean, not that
I was
way,
really talking about Scott and I, guys.
Yeah.
Well, right? Like, I'll take care of my shit.
Look,
I don't want to be lonely.
You guys are screwed.
Right now, I don't want to be without you. I don't want to. But yeah.
Well, I bet Mickey, you'll resonate with this. I want us to try the separate dating thing because I think I think both of us like the idea of having, an intense connection and being able to have those moments with somebody else. But I do also live with this insecurity that I know, not think, but know that she could find somebody that at least is traditionally, I don't want to say a better man, but you could find somebody better looking, richer, more, they could take you around the world and show you things I may never be able to do. And I know that's not necessarily what you're looking for, but the immature, insecure mind that we sometimes have of wanting to be that male provider, I know there's better providers out there. So that's the thing that worries me about the separate stuff.
If you're out there.
867-5309. Contact April today.
And that's the end of our separate dating experiments.
I started to fuck with you when you first started talking. Like, yeah, she totally can. Then as it really became clear to me, that's an extremely vulnerable thing for you. So I stopped and didn't fuck with you because I feel the same way. Everybody knows Mallory's hotter than me. You don't need to tell me. You can stop. Please stop messaging me. This is hotter.
No. Stop telling me. I got the message.
I know. But at the same time, I think there's a part of me, the compersive part of me, wants her to experience those people,
right,
and wants her to enjoy them and get that validation that she is smart, she is beautiful, she is funny, she is interesting, she is engaging, she is an amazing dancer, she does have great taste in music and whiskey and bad taste in men. But I do want her to have all of those things. I just don't want her to necessarily have them without me at all.
Yeah.
So that fear, I don't know that it ever goes away.
No, I have to agree. And I keep going. I break it down to like a math equation because that's how I can quantify it and like deal with it in the moment is they can have some or even most of those things. And I'd love for you to have that too. They just can't have it all because that's for me. So as long as
wait a minute, what do you mean?
Of yourself.
They can't. Who can't have all of
They can only have
what?
half of my dick.
Yeah. So like for instance, as we sit here today, would
The back half.
in an overnight situation, would probably be something that I would not be comfortable with, like a sleepover in the same bed. For me, that's a line that's too intimate. But have we been in separate beds with somebody else that we've spooned with a little bit? Yeah, absolutely, we've done that. But like a sleepover, that's a me thing. That's my intimate spot. That's my safety place.
But do you think that might change? Like, there's all kinds of things that I would say that, like, right now, I would not be comfortable with X, Y, and Z with her doing one of those. But I also recognize that those may just be insecurities that just melt away.
Maybe, and maybe it regresses too a little bit. That happens a lot. And when you've been in the space for so long, it kind of ebbs and flows because sometimes, life happens. You start dealing with stuff and you got to circle the wagons. You got to pull it in and figure it out.
Yeah.
And then you start to take steps forward in one direction or another.
And that's okay. We went through a period of 6 months to a year, maybe, where we just put all play on hold and we're focusing on us. And that was fantastic. The best thing we could have done was we were still going to events and still having a blast. We just weren't playing with anybody.
And it didn't feel in the moment like a great thing. But in hindsight, it's so easy to see. We progressed, our relationship with each other progressed through that period because it gave us time to think through some issues where when you're going to a party or an event all the time, maybe you don't get time to process that kind of stuff. But we came out the other side of that so much stronger. And some of the fears I had, even with separate dating, which was a subject we broached before this pause, now have just sort of seemed to melt away from me. Maybe it was just the time I've had to think through it, but that break was fantastic for us.
Yeah. And maybe it's a little like, if I say object permanence, does that mean anything? It's something that babies learn in infancy, like mom goes away, but she's going to come back. I think there's some examples where we still deal with that emotionally. Yeah. Like, is this going to always be this way and always feel this way, or is it going to get better? Yeah. Is he going to find somebody else when he goes on a date with somebody else? They're going to be better than me in some way that's going to threaten my position in this relationship?
Well, and so one of the
deal with that.
Yeah, one of the elements of compersion is I hope he's better than me at something, so you can enjoy it.
Right.
Right.
But that's not your fear, though, is it? That I'm going to find somebody better than you?
I don't think you can.
There it
If
is.
you were going to say that, I teed that up for you.
I
to be a
honest to
jerk.
God feel like I am the perfect woman for him.
Wow.
I
That's
do.
impressive.
I feel like I am Mrs. Right. You are welcome.
You're
love it.
welcome.
God, I love you.
it.
I know.
And vice versa, though.
I know.
But so what
I
is-
found the right one for me. Right.
Well, so what is your big fear with me?
That you don't realize that sometimes.
That I don't realize how
No,
great you are.
But
We are dumb
My
as a species.
biggest thing is vain and physical. That you will be with someone who is much better looking, and feel that attraction, and because I feel like you do fall in love easily, and I know you hate when I say that. That's my worry.
I can't wait to introduce you to Jack.
Oh God, Jack will.
You-
He falls in love faster than you.
Yes. This is going to be spectacular.
Jack's never met a girl. Jack and Kissy.
Shout out to Jack and Kissy. We love you both.
Look, if I have some recreational party favors coursing through my system, I do fall in love with everybody in the room.
Well, yeah, that's different though. I'm talking about if you were like solo dating the same woman and forming that type of relationship. I'm not talking about.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I know
just
what you mean.
basic.
And that's one of the things we've talked about on the separate dating that we disagree on. I understand why she wants that. She's one of our original rules was no more than 2 dates, separate dates with the same person. And I didn't like that because I hate the process of finding the date to begin with.
Okay.
The swiping, texting, messaging. Oh, this seems promising. It's exhausting. It's not worth the constant effort. But if you do find one of somebody that you have that connection with, I'm not wanting to go out on a date with them every week and be messaging and sending them flowers. I just want to know that there's somebody there that has an interest in me, that I have an interest in them. And once every couple months, we go, play around for a little while.
Yeah, I thought about that. Flowers might be a line for me. If somebody sent you flowers, I might get a twitch.
I don't
Well,
like flowers.
A twitch.
I've been sent
Just like-
lingerie.
Yeah.
I've been sent lingerie by someone we played with.
Did
And
that-
that was a big deal.
Did that bother you?
You know what? I had to think about it for a second. It definitely hit me sideways because I wasn't expecting it, but it didn't bother me because of the relationship we have with him. And he asked me first.
He
Okay.
did
think
ask permission.
That would
first.
bother you. Gifts is one of my love languages, and it's not like expensive,
Yeah.
lavish gifts. Just
Yeah.
like leave me a note, something. You find a flower in the yard, pick it. Would love send me gifts.
just address it to April.
You're just using this show as a platform.
Yeah.
Right? She has her own affiliate
No,
code on
but I
Casual
really
Tones.
do think that would bother Scott if somebody was sending.
Well, you never know until you face it,
Yeah.
right? We think we know how we're going to react to it,
Yeah.
but we don't. I don't think it would bother me if I knew the person and really liked them. And like you said, if somebody asked and it was somebody I liked, if you asked to send her lingerie, I don't think that would bother me.
Yeah.
But if some random guy that you had met in a bar or something, especially if
Why does he have our address?
Yeah,
Well, right,
seriously. How much info was I giving him? Like if I was separate dating a guy.
Yeah, and he sent it,
Yeah.
and then you opened it and were like gushing with excitement. I'd be like, I don't like this.
Yeah, but I do want to give a small piece of advice for the guys that are out there that are listening to this conversation in this moment. So gifts, when it comes to, because again, you're expanding beyond the confines of the traditional swinger relationship and that transactional nature. So Mallory did get lingerie from somebody. When you go to send a gift to the other person's partner, don't just ask their partner, ask your partner too.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
And just because they got a gift from somebody else doesn't mean they're okay with you giving a gift to somebody else. Ask me how I know.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
All
So we had a
right.
situation. So that happened, exchange. And then I find out, I don't know, a couple weeks later that you had sent her a toy.
I
And didn't-
replaced her toy.
Okay, fine.
It broke.
That's a
It's
very
just one of
important
those things.
distinction. isn't
Yeah,
it?
and I'm just like,
It was just a business.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue this because you remember this way differently than I do.
I was
I think
wrong.
I raised my
That's what it
hand and I said, hey, I would have played this out exactly how it played out. I'm just a little put off and hurt by the fact that I didn't get a voice to say in the matter. And we're supposed to be a team. And we, as a team, we don't make decisions like that necessarily in a vacuum. And I just want to have that transparency.
Yeah,
I fucked it up.
That's a good example because if he'd have asked, you may have said, "Yeah, I don't care."
She would have.
Well, it wouldn't have necessarily even needed to be permission. Hey, I had this idea about sending so-and-so this.
you think that's appropriate?
Yeah.
And you would probably have been okay with that.
What
Let me help you pick it out.
Probably made me swing on him is if I heard from her
Which
about
is exactly
the
what
amazing
happened.
toy that her husband gave and used on me. And I'd be like, excuse me.
Yeah. When you find it out secondhand, it is, and I'm glad I'm not alone. It's like sometimes I'm just like,
That's what happened.
Like I just started sweating.
should I not?
Away from your
I
nose.
literally tried to have that conversation with her. I know, like, should I not be offended? And like, I really sat on it for a while. I was like, no, I have to have this conversation because, it's happening. I'm not okay with not having a voice here.
Yeah.
Well, so now you guys know for a fact that on Casual Swinger, I don't just put other people on blast. I throw myself under the bus.
I can see how, because I can see Scott doing something similar though, thinking, well, she's not going to care. Like, I'm going to send it to her. She got a gift. Of course, I'm going to send a gift. I can see Scott doing that. But going into something like that, knowing he wasn't trying to be an asshole or trying to take your voice away from the situation, I'm sure helped you guys get through that.
Didn't mean it didn't hurt or bother you or whatever.
Right.
But
Yeah. For me, it was needing you to know, because I assumed and trust you that you didn't do that on purpose.
Oh, God.
That there was no nefarious and malicious activity that was happening. Obviously, you didn't know that this is the messaging I got from it, and this is how it made me feel.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility to you.
And being married to me, there's a threshold of mindlessness that she accepts by being married to me. However, that doesn't.
Are you saying you're a little oblivious sometimes?
A lot of it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't absolve me of having to get my ass handed to me over it. It just means she knows why it happened. And so it's not like I'm answering for malfeasance. I'm answering for stupidity.
Yeah.
And
I can relate.
In this case, it really, it sucked because I thought my heart was in the right place and I thought I did all the right things. I just left out a really important step.
And nothing you said there was wrong. You did all the right things.
Except one.
It would have worked out exactly the same except for that little piece. And when we have conversations like that, the analogy I use, especially if I'm raging, upset, and like trying to control my emotions, I draw a parallel between murder and manslaughter. Different crimes, person still dead.
That's right.
Right. But you see, here's the thing. She gets off on the crime of passion thing because she's always so passionately pissed at me that whenever I died, it was a crime of passion.
Always.
100%. It's either she loves me to death or makes sure the death is it's just imminent.
Well, yeah, you talked about earlier too about the we have insecurities, but you also want to see your partner thriving and enjoying themselves. So that compersion comes in. And I keep thinking about this gift thing now. There would be a part of me, the logical brain, the nice guy part of me. I am so glad she is loving that gift. I'm not good at those things. And this person's maybe helping me to need that I'm not great at. And then there would be the other part of me. And I don't know which one of these wins out in that situation, that would just be so jealous and irritated. And then I'd be watching every little thing she did. If she ever touched that gift item, whatever it was, oh, is she thinking about him, or she better not cook with that spatula he bought her. 'Cause I will not fucking eat that lasagna.
All of a sudden you have like this, irrational, animosity towards pancakes because that's the fucking spatula.
Right.
That's what I'm sending April for Christmas. It's a spatula with my face on it.
Yeah, please do.
Always think of me when you flip a burger.
Well, your emotions you cannot think clearly through intense emotions, and you have to take some time to process that.
I'd say for me, it comes down to want versus need. If someone is providing to her things she wants that make her happy, I'm happy. If somebody steps in and provides her something she needs that I can't provide, that is devastating.
Like a spatula.
Like a spatula.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me,
I'm not okay with your gender role.
Yeah.
That's like
Thank
the
you.
commentary there.
Or a hammer.
Yeah.
Well, the hammer she will use on me before the spatula.
I do need a new toolbox.
April's trying to get her Amazon wish list. She's leveraging your show to get.
She really is, and has yet to once mention a sex toy. You know, I own a fucking store, right? Come on, need a dildo, need something.
Womanizer.
There we go, womanizer for the win.
Well, looked up. Let me say this: I looked up the definitions of polyamory.
Okay, let's hear that.
And so these are
whose definition, by the way?
Well, so one here's Merriam-Webster's.
Oh, that'll be it.
Right. So
I'm sure
we're not talking, they tried to research their thing. This is not an expert in polyamory. This is just the dictionary. the state or practice of having more than one open romantic relationship at a time, which
Open, I find
Wait,
an
The
interesting.
romantic part is
well, right, because that's vague too,
Yeah.
right? Open
Yeah.
relationship's a vague
Yeah.
word. What does that mean?
Yeah.
But I also, in the same article, found something that may say it better than I've ever been able to say it, the type of thing that I would like in an ideal situation. So let me find it. Oh, it was, well, one of you, and I think it was you that brought up the word situationships
Yeah.
the other night, right? And I'd never heard that word.
Yeah.
really
No, never heard
it's
it.
trending with the youngins.
It's
The youngins.
Yeah.
And now you're making us sound old
well.
again.
yeah. Well, I'm very hip, unless you didn't know that.
Clearly.
Um,
He's wearing
Okay.
bell bottoms
Nice
right
guy.
now.
yeah, I'm very woke
So
and
choice.
Okay, tell us what situationship is.
turned. Okay, all right.
Cool.
So people who tend to gravitate towards situationships are those who want the emotional connection and intimacy with a partner, but in a compartmentalized way. That they can have the emotional presence and connection in person, but when apart, they can have their freedom. That you're not, there's no responsibilities outside of that. A situationship can offer a fun, stress-free way to enjoy the benefits of a relationship without a major emotional commitment apart from the in-person part of it. To me, that feels like what I've been trying to say.
Yeah.
I chase a little bit. I don't chase is the right word, but that's the thing I think I would enjoy the most. The transactional DTF type stuff, I can have fun with that a little bit, but it's just not the thing.
Definitely not my preferred play style. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say situationship is, it's not something I had ever heard before we started talking about it the other night. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
it's
pretty close.
accurate. But for me, I need a little more maintenance than that. And I don't want
Yeah.
anyone to feel responsible for me. But like in between those times and gaps, like it is nice to get a text like, hey, how's the family? It doesn't have to be anything overtly sexual. It can be. I don't mind flirting over text, but I don't want to have to like tell you good morning, give you all
Right.
the details of my day necessarily, or hear yours because I love you, but I don't have time for that. I have
Yeah.
one person that we are like two ships in the night and can barely get off bullet points before bed about how our day transpired.
Right. Well, so without going, too much longer, because, we've run a little long here, but that's okay. Cause I think this conversation's been great. Where's the line when we talk about things like texting outside of a situationship? Good morning, good night. Those are probably good. What about things like I miss you?
April.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mind. I've messaged our friends, I miss you, when we haven't seen them in a couple weeks.
Yeah, but you've messaged our friends.
Yeah.
You've never messaged him
Well, we
and
never
said that.
do.
I mean,
Does that
you've
cross the line?
messaged-
Everybody took
well,
a
we don't
breath.
separate message.
Yeah. I think.
Well, we've had like you said, some light separate exchanges before, but he asked a specific question. Like if you were to see me message a woman separately,
Mhm.
hey, I miss you. How does
Like,
that?
I'll make you fucking miss her.
No, just I missed you with
I'm just
every
kidding.
shot so far.
Pack your bags. You ain't missing her for long.
No, yeah, that would probably get me a little bit.
I think it would me too.
Yeah.
At least me today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be tough. I'm not sure it should make me feel that way.
Mhm.
Like I think there would be a part of me that would go, okay, that's bothering me, but should it? And is this something I should now? Is this a thing I need to work on?
Yeah.
I'm not sure it is, but
It
I-
certainly draws the relationship itself into a focus that might not have been there before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also may change the messaging to the receiver on the other end. What about you?
I would say it's something that obviously, if you receive a message like that, you obviously bring that up to your partner and say, hey, this was expressed to me. And of course, or I miss this person too. We haven't seen them in a while.
Right.
But I want you to know that I'm responding to it and it's not in a context that should create or generate fear. Or are you uncomfortable with this? Should I dial this back? I think that is the type of message that should generate a conversation between
Right.
you and your partner.
Yeah, because it can be ambiguous depending on how it's framed, who it was to, how often it comes. Because I tend to say, I miss your faces.
Yeah.
And when I talk about my friends, I can't wait to see your face. I miss you so much.
Does that take the emotional connotation out of it a little bit?
But I think in and of itself, like it's down to the nomenclature. I miss you.
Mhm.
That could potentially have a deeper meaning
Right.
that may rock people back on their heels. It may make them uncomfortable. I miss you. How though?
Right.
Like that would be my question.
Yeah, that's
Miss you how? In what regard?
context
Do you
is this?
do you miss that dick? Like in what way?
Yeah.
So I miss you as a blurred line,
Yeah.
I think
very
so.
blurry line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's an answer to that. And you could probably, we thought about it, come up with about 100 other of those questions.
Oh yeah.
I probably could.
And that's
if you sat
where,
here long enough.
and that's where it's so important.
I dreamt about
that-
you.
Yeah.
There's one.
I don't know if that one would. Well, I would go, well, what was the dream?
Okay.
Were we making pancakes with your new spatula?
And what are you
Or-
wearing?
Yeah, but you have to have that trust. That's, you're going to have those little messages back and forth, even if it's a group message
True.
that you may have not meant in a certain way, but you didn't think through before you sent it. And your partner may feel a certain way about it. So you have to have that trust that I do not believe you mean anything malicious, but at least Scott today would prefer you not have those types of messages.
What is the recommended threshold for benefit of the doubt in this situation with these blurred lines?
What do you mean?
Meaning that, so you got that message and maybe you responded to it, and maybe did it turn into something it shouldn't have, or maybe you got it and you didn't think anything of it, and then your partner sees it because maybe you share messages or something like that, and then they're mad, and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't think that was a big deal, I'm sorry. Where's the benefit of the doubt line on that to go, hey, I was comfortable with you having this separate friendship? How do we determine where that blurred line ends and it becomes a hard line? It's hard.
It is. I think you fuck it up a little bit.
I think you get it wrong.
Human
I agree
beings,
with you,
like,
Mallory. Yeah,
and
I do.
not on purpose, obviously, but
Yeah. It's
I
really
think
tough.
and that goes for this space anyway.
Well,
Yeah,
and-
it's
Yeah,
going to be
there's gonna
different
be-
for every relationship.
Yeah, there's always going to be pitfalls and landmines that we don't know about until they present themselves. And you said how much birth and what's the quantifiable source to go, hey, that's too much.
Mhm.
And I don't feel like giving you the benefit of the doubt. I think we kind of have to give each other the benefit of the doubt.
Is
Well,
benefit of the doubt
Like,
easier if you know
you're
his
gonna
partner?
go mad if you don't.
It would be for
Absolutely
me.
insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you know the other person, does the benefit of the doubt get wider?
it would be, well, yeah, if they somebody I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it
but
does too.
I will say this, that while I may not know what things are going to bother me, there'll be things. We're going to push the envelope a little bit and try some new things. But if I did something and she then came to me and said, all right, look, I know you didn't mean anything, but I'd like for you to not do this thing, X, whatever X was, again. And then I did it again. Well, now
Yeah.
this is no longer blurred lines anymore. This is, this was malicious at this point.
Mhm.
So certainly if once something, when you're using your words and you address a thing, that thing shouldn't happen again.
That's how all of our boundaries have moved, though. You make what I guess people would call maybe a misstep, but it's an unintentional thing. And then you discuss it. Why am I feeling uncomfortable? What brought those feelings up? And then you talk through it. And then you go, oh, well, it's really not a big deal. That's okay for us now.
Well, and I think that's kind of the difference between stepping in shit and stepping on a landmine, right? Because you step in shit, you go, oh, damn it, I like these shoes too, right? And then you step on a landmine, you lose a leg, or you're dead, right? It's something bad happened. And I think there's a lot of landmines in the lifestyle. I think that blurring lines like this does make the lifestyle harder. It's lifestyle leveled up. But at the same time, there's a lot of positive that can come out of it, especially for people that you're either compulsive, which is me, or if you are just a generally emotional person that prefers that connection.
Well, you say it's lifestyle leveled up. And in a sense, I agree with that. Certainly for us, I would say. But I have met other people that have started their consensual non-monogamy journey with separate dating.
Wow.
And like,
Right
we
into it.
like, yeah, but to them, that was the easiest way.
Yeah.
This whole idea of like watching my partner be with somebody else, that was a big step for us. We didn't want to do that. So we just separate dated.
Oh,
So for them, the easier thing was to not see it. And that like fucking somebody in the same room was a big step up for them. So while I would agree that I think for the majority of us, the separate stuff is a step up, I don't think it's that way for everybody.
No, yeah.
It's fascinating. Yeah.
I would coach
You know what?
against that. And I would coach against that because I'm a believer in the idea that what we don't know, if we know A and we know D, we make up B and C. That's the way the human brain works. So if I out of sight, out of mind something, I'm going to make up the worst possible version of that in my fears.
Yeah. See, I'm the opposite. And that's one of the reasons why I suggested separate dates is because I don't want to know. I don't want to see. I don't want to know. I don't need to know her. I don't need to be friends with her. I just need to know that you had a good time. She was a nice person. whatever, I would prefer that.
Because one of the fears you have is, we talked about something similar to this earlier, is I go out on this date a couple times with some girl that you don't know. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Things go great. You don't care. It's all good. But then we're at an event and she's there. And I said, oh, this is
like if it was like a friend in our circle or something. And now I have to see her at events, and him and her have these secret exchanges. They have inside jokes. They have things that I don't know about. I don't want to see it.
Does that increase your level of forgiveness though? Because if you said, I don't want to know, and there's things I don't want to know. But when you do that, and then you find out something that you didn't know, and then you're like, you should have told me that. I need to know that. Right? I mean, does that increase your forgiveness level for that? Does it give him a wider berth since you told him you didn't want to know?
Yeah, I'm a pretty forgiving person anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I trust that he wouldn't do anything intentionally malicious.
So the benefit of the doubt gets wider since you said, I don't want to know. But if you're a person that does want to know, then open your mouth. Yeah. Say everything.
So,
use your words.
So if you're a girl that we don't know, and you're really attractive and you like bald older guys.
Right? There you go. Well, I think
you don't want older women? Maybe she likes younger guys.
Well, I'm not one. I'm talking about for me.
Yeah, Scott's 21 now.
Older woman?
I didn't say that. Yeah, I'm saying I'm an older guy, so they have to be okay with me being 51.
Welcome to the semantics portion of the show.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So
See how things can be easily misunderstood?
We're going to have a talk about
We're going to watch this back now that it's recorded, and I didn't say anything about not liking older women. And I'm going to feel so vindicated by that.
By the way, every woman 52 and up that listens to this show is now called you an asshole.
But if you're an attractive tall guy that I do know and have some respect for, you might want to call her.
Also that he does not.
There you go. I think we've covered a lot of different angles, a lot of different subjects here, and it's all been kind of around the same thing, the blurred lines between swinging and polyamory. Was there a definitive answer here? No, because there was never supposed to be. This is not something that there's a one size fits all or an answer for everybody. That is the entire point of the episode. The blurred lines will be different for you than they are for Mallory and I or Scott and April. And we are making mistakes as we go through this. 18 years, still fuck it up. She still gets mad at me all the time for things I do, things I don't do, or things I didn't think I did wrong till I found out later. It happens to all of us.
Mallory, for the record, I think you're nicer than you're coming off in this.
Oh, no, she's amazing. She's the most forgiving person in the world.
It's all the things that occupy my brain that I don't say and do in response to this life that we live. I think that's really where my martyrdom comes in.
Yeah. Well, and having to live with me, I'm a train wreck.
Yeah.
So,
you're a delight.
I am. But this has been a blast. So do us a quick favor. Remind everybody, if they want to go to Be Better at Being Bad Week and they want to, or maybe join Naughty Jim and stop being a fat ass. I'm a fat ass. I can say it. If somebody wants to get closer, get connected with Naughty Jim, how do they do it? How do they find you? How do they book Be Better at Being Bad Week?
Well, let me say first, you've lived an impressive journey since we last really saw you. First time we met you guys was in Miami at PCAP. And I think you weighed 1,114 pounds.
Just about.
And I don't know how much weight you've lost, but you showed me a picture yesterday. I don't even recognize you. So kudos to you, because that is not easy to do.
Thank you.
But yeah, if somebody wants to join Naughty Jim, it is a legitimate, it really has nothing to do with consensual non-monogamy other than the fact that it is a community full of consensually non-monogamous people, but it's a legitimate, serious strength and conditioning program that will help you lose weight, get in shape, be healthier, all that sorts of stuff. If you want to join Naughty Jim's membership program.
Yeah, that's naughtygym.com. And then if you want to join us at Be Better at Being Bad Week in Hedonism, you can go to our website, www.naughtygym.com, and click the link through there. But all booking is done through Hedo. So just go to hedonism.com, book January 4th through the 11th, 2025, and you'll join us there.
So if you're there, you're Be Better at Being Bad. And you will see these guys and a bunch of other creators and influencers and people in the space, intelligent people, and us.
Nope.
Hey.
Notice I left us out of the smart people part.
That was very smart.
I guess I'm guilty by association.
Oh, no, you're much smarter than me. We all know that. All right. Well, hey, I think this thing's probably gone on long enough. Hopefully people are still hanging out and having a good time. Now you know how to be better at being bad. Mallory, you want to tell everybody how to find us?
Oh, shit. All right. We are Casual Swinger everywhere. Casualswinger.com. You can find us on social media, which is Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Hello. Just now.
Yeah.
And we're also on the dating sites. That's STC, Cassidy, and SLS.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been us with Naughty Jim talking about blurred lines. Thank you for listening to Casual Swinger.